Hey guys, what's up? Thanks so much for stopping by. That was such a weird mechanical wave, whatever. If this happens to be your first time here, welcome. My name is Dana. I'm so happy to have you. And can I just say, I'm so excited for this video. I think a lot of y'all will be too, just because anytime I'm over on Instagram stories and I show anything with cooking, especially with Korean food, you guys are always asking questions about where I get ingredients or how you make this. So I went back home and visited my parents in May for about 2.5 weeks, and I filmed my mom just cooking some of my favorite and easy recipes. I thought for the first video it'd be good just to use ingredients that I think are readily available, especially these days. Even when you go to Walmart, it's crazy. The international aisle, I'm still not saying it's like the best, but they've definitely come a long way, because several years ago, whenever you go down the international aisle at like Walmart or just any like chain grocery store, it would be like top ramen. It wasn't actual good stuff, and now you can find like gochujang, doenjang, things that you never saw at Walmart before. So I thought whether you had like an Asian grocery store in town or not, these are recipes that I think are pretty easy to find the ingredients for. And more than anything, I'm just like so excited for y'all to see my mom. She did not want me like filming her. She was okay like with her hands, but I still included clips here and there because, to be honest, I'm just obsessed with my mom. She knows this. I know everybody loves their mom, but I don't know if it's just being like an only child, and my mom is easily the most like selfless and caring person I know. I know with cultures, like food is different within every culture, and I think when it comes to Asian culture, especially so much in Korean culture, food is such a big thing. You know, my friend Laura even always makes fun of me. I am such a stickler with how Landon eats. The thought of him being at school and not having enough to eat or something, I panic. Laura always makes fun of me for this, but I think it's because my mom was never a mom that was like, oh no, I don't feel like cooking anything, have cereal. It could be like 2 in the morning, we could be on a road trip, like driving to Florida. We never got there at 2 in the morning because, I mean, I'm more considerate than that. But even if it's really late at night, she'll always call me like, hey, what do you want? Do you want kimchi jjigae? I can make this, I can make that. My mom just lives, maybe she does it, but I think she does. I can definitely see like my mom loves to feed people. She's the ultimate caregiver. Honestly, she should have been a nurse or something, because I've just never met anybody else who's just so caring and giving and just nurturing, but she's an amazing cook. I'm not sitting here saying this whole video is about my mom, but I can't make this video without talking about my mom in the intro. Without a doubt, she is the reason that Landon is such an amazing eater. Landon will eat, or at least try, anything and everything. I'm not a picky eater at all, but there are things that Landon eats that I'm just like, I'm sorry, homie, I can't do it. For instance, chicken feet. I mean, that kid lives to try new things, and I know it's because of my mom. I mean, Landon's first solid food was, instead of just doing like, you know, rice porridge or things like that, my mom would boil down Cornish hen and then do sweet rice. That he was eating that. He ate kimchi before he was 1. He just has such an amazing palate, and I 100% give that credit to my mom, because I mean, she was constantly introducing him to new things. I feel like I cook the way that I do because of my mom. She never sat down and was like, okay, this is how you make this is how you cook. But I think just watching her and just seeing her love of food and cooking definitely instilled that in me as well. And so I'm just really excited for you guys to see this video. Definitely tag me over on Instagram or Twitter, Facebook, wherever, if you guys try out any of these recipes. These are just some of my all-time favorites. Now, I will say, if you happen to have a Korean mom, I know everybody does their own thing their own way, but everybody always thinks their mom's kimchi is the best. But let me just tell you, my mom's kimchi and kimchi jjigae is the best. We didn't do a kimchi tutorial in this video, but I plan on going back home in July, and I think I'm gonna ask if we can just like sit down and film her making just like a fresh new batch of kimchi. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and let me know if you guys would like to see more of these videos. So for the first dish, we're starting off with something super simple. This is called MUCHIM, which is essentially just a spicy cucumber salad. So for the base, we went in with 2 cucumbers that my mom picked from her garden. And then just to add additional crunch and flavor, about half of a small onion. You just want to go in with thin slices. Also 2 green onions, using both the white and green portion. After the green onion, we're gonna add garlic, because honestly, what is a recipe without garlic? For this, my mom went in with about 2 large cloves, once again, just going in and mincing. Just like with any other side dish, you could really eat this with anything, but we really like it whenever you're eating something that may be a little bit heavier or greasy, just because cucumbers have a lot of freshness, and just with the water, it just kind of cleanses your palate. So whether you're making fried rice, sometimes we even eat this whenever my dad grills ribs. because honestly, we eat rice with pretty much anything. But this is just a favorite of mine. So if you've never been to a Korean restaurant, typically whenever you go in, before they bring in your main entree, you get little side dishes. Those are called banchan. Typically, it always comes free. So it could be anything from MUCHIM, kimchi, all sorts of stuff. But this is just a really basic, fresh one. Now that we have the components for the base, this is where we can start creating the sauce. So the main ingredient for the sauce is gochujang. This is just a spicy red pepper paste. There's so many different brands out there now, but this is the main one that we tend to use. But like I said, you really can't go wrong. So 1 heaping tablespoon of that. From there, we're gonna go in with 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. I do kind of have a preference when it comes to fish sauce though. If you can find the 3 crab brands, that's the one that I would recommend. Now, this is where you kind of tweak it for your spice level. If you only want something mild, go with 1 tablespoon. If you want it spicy, go 2 to 3 tablespoons of gochugaru. Those are just the spicy red pepper flakes. I believe you can find those on Amazon too. From there, we're adding a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds and then about a teaspoon of sugar. This just kind of balances out the spice and just brings out more flavor. So don't even bother trying to mix this with your hands or your chopsticks. Just with the thickness of the gochujang, you really want to go in with your hands and mix it up. Now, I would recommend eating this in the first day. By day 2, it kind of gets soggy and mushy. It's just not as crisp and crunchy anymore. So yeah, definitely just, I would say 1 to 2 days in the fridge, but if you can eat it in the first day, I would recommend getting it done then. Moving on to recipe number 2, this is the easiest, but without a doubt, one of the tastiest. This is Kimchi Bibimbap, which is just kimchi fried rice. So you're gonna start off by frying some sour kimchi in sesame oil. Ours looks really white because this was kimchi that had gotten like extra fermented in the fridge. So my mom just rinsed it off some, but just to add extra spice back in, we're gonna mix in some gochujang, which was the Korean red pepper paste from earlier. Now, if your kimchi is already sour and at the perfect state, you do not have to do this step unless you're wanting to go in and add additional spice. Then you can go in with some gochujang or gochugaru. So you're just going to go in and fry this up. From there, we're just going to add a tiny dash of soy sauce just for a little bit more saltiness. After you have the kimchi and soy sauce all fried up, you're going to go in with rice. As you can see, there isn't really measurements with this. Just like when you make regular fried rice, you kind of just wing it. If you ever ordered bibimbap from a Korean restaurant, then you know in the stone bowl, sometimes the bottom of the rice gets really nice and crispy. You can do the same thing with this by just leaving it in the pan for a little bit longer after you remove it from the heat. Those are definitely my favorite bites. So I just went in and topped mine off with some gim, which is just some roasted seaweed, and my mom and I decided to eat it with some ojinga, which was this spiced braised squid, some of the egg and spam roll-ups, and fried spam. For the next recipe, we're going to be making Kimchi Bibimbap, which is kimchi pancakes. Also a chive version as well, just in case if you don't like kimchi, which if you don't, that's very unfortunate. But for the chive ones, you want about 1 big jalapeno and then half of an onion. From there, you're going to take a handful of chives and just cut it into smaller sections. If you are wanting to beef up the chive ones a little bit more, you could go in and add seafood. That makes it extra tasty. So we're actually going to be making our batter from scratch. So just to make the pancakes a little bit more tender and chewy, I'm grating 1 raw potato. In Korean, you describe that as jolgi. Anything that's like tender, that's my favorite word. Okay, so from there, we're gonna go ahead and start off with 1 cup of chicken broth. I will be adding more later, but just to start it off, we're starting with 1. I will have all the written recipes down below. Then you're gonna go in with 2 cups of flour and then 2 eggs. So this big bowl of batter is gonna be making enough pancakes for each variety, the chive ones and the kimchi ones. So once I started mixing, I noticed that the flour was still pretty thick, so that's where I went in with my 2nd cup of chicken broth. Once I have the batter mixed, I'm going to go ahead and take half of the batter and add it on top of the chives, jalapeno, and onions and just give it a good mix with my hands. Whenever you first look at it, it looks like there's not enough batter, but once it gets cooking, you really see that the batter really starts to spread out and holds all of the ingredients together. So this batch we're keeping for the chives, and then the other half of the batter will be saved for the kimchi ones. Just as we did earlier with the chives, we're just taking a large bundle of kimchi and creating nice bite-sized pieces. From there, you just add your sour kimchi into your remaining batter and mix it all up. At this point, you're gonna go ahead and get your skillet nice and hot. This is perfect because my mom actually has a nice portable stovetop, so we just cook these outside. That way you don't have to worry about oil splattering anywhere. But you just wanna get your pan nice and hot with some oil. That way it'll be easy for you to flip the pancakes. Once your pan is nice and hot and ready to go, this is when you're gonna go in and just take a large ladle full of the batter and really spread it out on the pan. You just wanna get it nice and golden brown on each side, so letting it cook through and then flipping. I suck at this part, but my mom's really good at it. Okay, and then just to give you a glimpse of what the chive one looks like, same thing, just take a large ladle and then fill in any gaps. Obviously, I had to go in and do a taste test. It was delicious. As always, you can eat these plain, or if you just want to go in and take a little bit of vinegar and mix it with soy sauce just for a dipping sauce, that kind of helps cut a little bit of the grease, but these are so good. Next up is keranmari. These are just little egg roll-ups with green onion and Spam. If you're eating something spicy, this is the perfect side dish. If you grew up with an Asian mom, I'm sure you had this in your bento box at least once before. So this is about 3/4 of a can of Spam, just diced up into tiny little cubes. In that, we're just gonna add 5 eggs, some green onion, and then dashida. Dashida is basically like the Korean equivalent to beef bouillon powder. I know you can find it on Amazon if you don't have a Korean grocery store nearby. Like I said, I'll be sure to link whatever I can find down below for y'all. But that's really it for this mixture. You just mix it up and then you create a really cute like egg roll omelet in a pan and then slice it into pieces. I'm telling y'all, this is something that's so simple, but when you're eating something really spicy, it's perfect just to kind of help cool your tongue down. All right, y'all, so there you have it. There are some of my simple favorite recipes that my mom makes. There's definitely a million more, but like I said, I just wanted to keep this video more simple when it came to ingredients. If you happen to try any of these, I would love to see you do your recreation. Send me pictures, anything like that. If you've never tried Korean food before, I'm telling you, you're missing out. You like sweet and savory or like salty and spicy. Korean food is just, I mean, I know it's because I grew up with it, so I think it's the best, but just the amount of flavors and just things that go into Korean food, man, I feel like I need a bowl of kimchi jjigae right now, and I'm sad because we're out of rice, so I will be going to H Mart tomorrow. Maybe we can film the grocery thing tomorrow. Anyways, there you have it. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.